welcome back to the Money Script Podcast. It's your host, Yohance Harrison. So happy to be with you. Did you miss me? Because I missed all of you. It has been a minute. There was a few things going on. I'll just tell you what it was. I got COVID. Yeah, again. And I was down. I had to reschedule a bunch of shows, meetings. Had to reschedule life. Man, it was no fun. So I do have to say to y'all out there that COVID's still real, especially if you have children, because your children are, they like to go and hang out around other children that like to carry germs. So just be careful, people. I am going to reconsider ordering some more masks from Amazon, especially when I'm out in crowds. I've met a few of you, by the way. So what's up to the listeners that I have had the wonderful opportunity to meet at a few different conferences where I went to speak and things of that nature. So thank you for your listenership and your viewership. For those of you on YouTube, we appreciate you. I am so excited today. I have a returning guest of the show. We refer to them as friends of the pod. So we have a friend of the pod that is back for a round two. And, without any further ado, I'm just going to hop in. I mean, YouTube, y'all can see him already. So Aaron, he is the CEO and founder of Misha's Inc. A lot has happened since the last show, and we're going to talk about some of that. So Aaron, my brother, how are you?
I'm good, man. You're very good at that. I need to learn how to get good at that. Like your intro, like you're great at this, man. I love it.
Man, I appreciate it. Hey, but I feed off the energy of others. I mean, you're coming here, Mr. Founder, CEO. I got to match that. I mean, I'm a founder, CEO too.
You're a founder, CEO.
I am too.
Let me tell you something. I did a one of our investors, Slauson and Co. They're a small investor here in Los Angeles. They're an exciting young venture fund. They're doing it right. They took all of their founders on a retreat last summer, right? And it was a very interesting time for me because it was like the beginning of a really troubled period. Like it was like things were starting to get really shaky. And they took all of his founders out to this really great campus up in Northern California. And one of the things that came out of it that was remarkable was this. We all had some form of challenge, but the biggest challenge we had in common was we couldn't talk to anybody about it because your employees don't understand. Mm-hmm. Your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, whatever, generally they're not going to understand. Your friends, people will just say, "Oh, it'll be fine," or you'll next time, or all you got to do is, and they don't understand, right? But founders and CEOs, we understand. And it was great to have everybody in the room. So, it's one of the things I promote a lot is like people like you and I making sure that we're talking all the time. Because the other thing that happens is we solve each other's problems because we understand. Like it's like Lego pieces, man. But anyway,
it's like a conversation. We had a little prep talk before this, and Aaron and I are supposed to be joining some other friends in Atlanta. Shout out to Finesse and Kedar, also friends of the pod. We're supposed to be joining them this weekend for Finesse's birthday. Actually, it was my birthday too. So yeah, I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Thank you all. 43 trips around the sun. So happy to be on another swift journey through space here. And
by the way, so long ago now.
I was recovering from COVID. I still got some of the lingering effects. I still got, a pile of work that I'm still trying to catch up on. And Aaron, I appreciate you because you said to me as I was sharing it with you, we had to step out the group chat and you were like, man, get your rest.
Get your rest.
Stay home, get your rest. There'll be plenty more comedy shows. Finesse, we love you. We'll be at the next one.
We love you. And listen, the harder we work at doing the thing that we're working on, the easier it will be for us to host your next birthday party on that yacht. So
there you go, on the yacht. Or no, and that's the other thing, Finesse. It's time that you give us the invite outside of the continental United States. Where's the Paris show? Where's the Egypt show? I mean, that's the one. I mean, I drop everything.
Dubai. I'm ready for
where's
Dubai
the Dubai?
Show.
Yeah, where's the Dubai show, Finesse?
In fact, I think we can help make the Dubai show happen. Let's get it together.
That's what we got to do. All right, you heard it here first. You heard it here first. So, as for my active listeners and viewers here, as you know, I like to bring some current events at the top of the show, and there was a big one that hit the news this week. And no, I'm not talking about the debt ceiling thing. We got past that. It'll be another showdown in a couple years, but this is one that really is going to hit close to home for a lot of our listeners and viewers. So, I do want you to pay close attention. Last week, CNBC reported that credit card debt for Americans reached a record of $988 billion. That's almost $1 trillion in credit card debt. And it couldn't happen at a worse time. Interest rates have been going up. So for those of you who have credit card debt, there's more than likely your interest rate is now higher than it used to be. The most troubling one for me, Aaron, and as a parent, I'm sure you can appreciate this. The most troubling one is that credit card users between the ages of 18 and 29 have almost $3,000 of credit card debt at an average interest rate of higher than 20%.
I mean, it's less troubling to me because mine is only 5.5.
True. Well, okay, true. Well, so I've got one that's 21 and got one that's 6, so I get it.
The 21-year-old would worry me without question. What it does do though is it makes me considerate and maybe even concerned about her future, right?
Yes.
Because this is real, both from the perspective of what is the environment going to be for her when she's in that space, and then two, how am I making sure that I'm preparing her to not get in that trap, right? Because it happened to me early. So I remember Texas Southern, 1986, freshman. One of the first things that happened when I landed on that campus was some
free T-shirt.
Dude, free T-shirt and a credit card.
Yep.
And it was a guaranteed credit card. Like and it was like, it wasn't just one. I probably got 3 or 4 of them, right? We're going to give this to you. Don't worry about it. We know you've never had credit before. You have it now. And I think all of them were like $500, right?
Yeah.
And I can remember, I remember going downtown to the electronic shop and getting that boombox. I did. That's what I did. I went and bought one, right? Because I had credit. And I had, and I had not, I love my parents. My parents are great. But nobody taught me how to do it, right? Like, and I can tell you, like, what I know now, my daughter at 5 has a credit card, by the way. You understand what I'm saying? She can't use it. She can't use it, and she'll not know that she has it. But what that means is she has a credit profile that's being built up for her that will make it very strong when she steps out. And again, like I said, if I'm doing my job, she'll understand how to both use and not use that credit.
Yeah, amen to that. Shout out to my son Seth, just graduated. That's something that happened. Oh, Seth, I know you'll probably get around to this by next year. Congratulations on your graduation. Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Harrison graduated from Dillard University with honors.
Wow.
He is a film major, really wants to get into a writer's room. So for writers out there listening, we know the strike is happening right now, but as soon as it's over, he'll be happy to connect with you. For all of my musicians out there, you're looking for treatments for music videos, things of that nature. That's kind of what he's doing in his spare time right now. So look him up. I don't know his call signs. We'll put it in the notes so you can look him up. So Seth and I had a conversation yesterday. Say that again, sir.
I said, ladies and gentlemen, what a father does.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, you're absolutely right. So Seth and I looked at his credit score yesterday. He too has had a credit card since his early teens, never used it. So he made it all the way through college, and he's cleaning out his dorm. And as he's cleaning through things, it was like, oh, look what I found. It was the credit card that I gave him when he went off to school. And I said, use this in cases of emergencies. Yeah. It expired this year.
Wow.
And he never put a dime on it. I looked at his credit score just the other day. He is 21 years old, in the mid 700s for his credit score.
Outstanding.
Okay. I was not in that situation at 20 something years old. I wasn't because I, like you, Aaron, arrived on North Carolina A&T's campus and got my T-shirt and Capital One card. And immediately went out. I didn't go get a boombox. I went and bought some Air Maxes because, I really needed those Air Maxes right there.
Everybody needed Air Maxes in that moment.
Had to have them. The Air Max 97s. It was 1998. See, I had to have them. So, I've mentioned this on other shows. And so I just want to give this tip again. And if it's your first time hearing it, make sure you rewind it, write it down, make sure it is stored into your memory bank, into the subconscious. If this is your second or third or fourth time hearing it, great. Say it along with me. Debt only comes from 3 places. There are only 3 ways to get debt. Number 1 is you have an emergency. And when you have that emergency, you don't have cash money to pay for it. So you have to borrow from somewhere. A great example, actually, my son just went through this. He had a leak in his car. His car was leaking oil. That's an emergency. He can't get around. He can't be stranded somewhere and, on the freeway because his engine locks up. It was an emergency. Okay. Now he had the money, but he wanted to spend the money on something else. So he had to create some debt. Not really. I'm not going to make him pay me back, but he had to come to dad and say, Dad, can you fix my car for me? Okay. Because he didn't really have the cash set aside. Now, had he been on his own, that sort of thing, a lot of times that's what gets people into debt. Or maybe it's a medical emergency or a tooth is hurting or something like that. And they're right there ready to give you credit. Care credits right there. Like, hey, you can't pay for this today. Pay for it over time. So number 1 is emergencies. Number 2, for those that can say it with me, number 2 is the things that are important. You don't make a plan for them. And then all of a sudden they become urgent. Best example, college. We as parents say to our kids, go to college. It's important. You got to go to college. The kids get into their head, yes, I got to go to college. This is important. But nobody creates a savings plan for it.
Gerber,
and guess what? Say it again.
Gerber is your friend.
Right there, waiting for you.
That still exists.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody knows about it. And there's so many programs like that for new parents. Sorry, I'm stepping all on your.
No, you good. You good. So number 2, things that are important that become urgent. Now, that can also be things like home repairs. Yeah. For those homeowners out there, it's like, I really got to fix that gutter. Yeah, it's causing a problem. I really got to fix that gutter. And you just put it off. And all of a sudden you got a leak inside the house. Now it's urgent. Yeah. And if you don't have the money for it, guess what? Bank's going to be right there. Like, what you need, we can loan it to you. And then finally, number 3, the third way that we create debt, and probably the most prolific, spending tomorrow's money today. Yeah. I'll take care of it when I get that bonus. I can just swipe it at 0%. I'll pay it off later. Yeah. Okay. So number 1, if you can create an emergency fund for yourself, then you can help keep yourself from going to debt when you have emergencies. Number 2, if you can think about the things that are important and create a plan for them, then you can help yourself from going into debt from the important things that become urgent. And number 3, just stop trying to keep up with the Joneses or the Kardashians or whoever you're trying to keep up with. You do not have to spend tomorrow's money today. Learn the power of no.
The guy, I have a buddy. He's a buddy and he was also an employee. And I'll get into this later, but we were considering bringing him back to the business. There's a ... in that, right?
Okay.
Thinking about bringing him back. And we had a conversation with him. I said, well, listen, this is what I can pay you. Basically, I can pay you what we were paying you, roughly. And he says, well, yeah, I'm making that now in my other spot. I want to come back, but I'm not in a position to now take that. I'm about to have to look for other things. And I said, oh, really? That's super interesting. Why? And he says, and he's a friend, so it was candid, right? So basically, he's making, I think, $120,000 a year. And he says, yeah,
that's good money. That's good money.
I don't have any money. I'm broke. I can't pay my bills. And so I got to go back because I got to try to find something that's paying me, $100,000 more per year.
It's a big gap.
That's the only way I'm going to be able to cover my debt. And I said, wow. I said, well, tell me what happened. And he said, well, we started our startup. We started going in, and I was going to be rich, I thought, in the next 12 months. And so I started spending money. I remember he got a new Jaguar.
Ooh.
He was partying like a rock star. This dude was living it. And, I don't ask people I don't get in people's pockets, right? So, you're really enjoying your salary, right? No. And he did. He put himself in so much debt, spending tomorrow's money. that now he can barely dig himself out of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's a big deal. Like it's I think a lot of people do this. And I mean, you know, we live in LA, so $120,000 doesn't go that far in LA.
No, barely get you out of the parking lot.
Brother, like, look, we went looking at leases and purchases in our neighborhood. The average house lease in our neighborhood is $13,000 a month.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I left Los Angeles.
Yes. If only. But you know, like, but then okay, and somebody would say, well, you know, that where do you live, right? Well, the low side of that is it used to be, I think a year or two ago, it was $2,500 for a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, right? Now it's like $3,000 a month for 1 bedroom, one. And I think if you're
and we're talking less than 600 square feet, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been there.
Closet, like you're talking closet. You can reach out the window and borrow sugar from your neighbor, right? Like it's a problem. And if you're in other parts of the world, Houston, Dallas, I think Dallas is getting pretty bad though now, isn't it? Dallas
it is. So I'm on the outskirts. Yeah, no, I'm not dealing with that riffraff in the Frisco, Plano, you know, Midtown Dallas, and I'm down here in Grand Prairie, where I can get, you know, some acreage. You know, I got to take a walk to get to my neighbors a little bit.
Oh, man, that's great. Listen, I've been talking about it. That's another thing. And this is very interesting. This is another thing that's going to lead into some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, what's been going on with me. You know, we've been having this conversation about how do we get out of this trap that we're in, because doing business in California, I live here. I've grown up between Texas and California, so I owe a lot to California. But being a business owner is hard in California.
Yeah.
It's very expensive. It is not it's not a boss. It is not an employer friendly space, right? Like we can be sued for pretty much anything by an employee, and you can hardly fire one, right? You can hardly let an employee go. So there's that, you know, there's just a lot, like it's hard. And so we talked about going to Austin. You know, we've talked about going to, you know, you guys have your own.
Oh, we got our own. We got our own. I mean, we are the original Wild Wild West. So we do have our own.
It looks like you're gonna have to go buy one of those red robes for your wife pretty soon, and like one of those white hats, you know, because
let's talk about Misha's Ink, because a lot of things have happened since what was that, season 2? I think we're about a year and a half, 2 years ago since the last time we had a conversation. And I know shortly after our conversation, I had a box of cheese show up at my front door, and we devoured it in a very short order.
Good.
And then I was searching for it around Texas, but I think you're going to give me some good news about looking for Misha's in Texas. Tell us what has happened.
Interestingly enough, and maybe surprising. So we got into Central Market, and so we were in some markets in Texas. And Central Market is a fantastic partner. If any Central Market folks are listening, we love you. Man, we were going pretty strong. So we were all over California, Hawaii, Pacific Northwest. We got into a little bit of Florida and Texas. And a couple of things happened that were hard. One of those things happened, I guess this is the thing, right? The economy happened.
True. Because we spoke right before, I think, or just after COVID was getting kicked off. Yeah, it was early in COVID.
So there's something interesting happened. You know, there was a lot of COVID money out there. Like everybody's getting these investments, you know, these grants or loans, right, from SBA, and there was a ton of money in the space. And we saw new companies popping up, food companies, CPG companies. And one of the things I think a lot of folks weren't aware of or didn't realize at the time, there was a lot of flow in the venture space. A lot of venture capital money was flowing, right? And a couple of things were at work here. One was that there was a lot of money from COVID. Two, there was a lot of crypto money.
Yes.
A ton of crypto money. There was a lot of young people making money. And those people were trying to figure out what to do with their new money and how to flip that money into more money. And they were investing, and they were becoming LPs in venture funds, right? Now, if you're trying to get a venture investment, you don't know where that money's coming from. You're not even asking, right? Like, hey,
Nope.
give me some money so I can do my thing.
Give me, let me get some of that.
When those, so first thing that happened is that, of course, the COVID money started to dry up, right? So that happened. And then in the crypto started cratering, right? The bank started cratering. And then all those people who were putting money in funds will start to pull their money out of the fund.
Start pulling it out. Yep.
Because holy shit, I don't know if I can say that on here, but they were
you can. You did awesome. Good. You're good.
Awesome. And we started seeing something in the food sector that was terrifying for a lot of folks. Businesses were going out of business at an extremely rapid rate. There are a lot of things that you could do, like tech, for instance. Tech, I don't want to speak too much about it because I don't know that much about it, but it doesn't seem to be as money intensive as some other things. Food I can speak about is incredibly capital intensive.
Well, because I mean, spoilage is your biggest enemy, right?
Well, you have a couple things for fresh foods like Misha's, and I'm going to talk about that too. But we at the time had a 60-day shelf life, like pork, like dairy. So you have that. You have spoilage. You have middleman. You have the distributor who you have to pay, and you'll get hit.
Oh yeah, because gas rates went up. Transport rates went up. Yeah, transport rates were through the roof.
Supply chain. So your normal ingredients were doubling in cost. You had there were so many things, man. Even a lot of times, well, most people don't know this, but it costs money to get on shelves, right? There's something called slotting fees. You have to pay slotting fees in order to get on shelves at grocery stores, right? And those slotting fees come in a couple different forms. One form is something called a free fill, which means if you're a grocery store and you're like, yeah, I love your product, I want it on my shelf. I've got 50 stores. I want to get your product. I want to get 2 SKUs or 4 SKUs on my shelves. So what you need to do is you need to fill the first order for free.
I mean, but it's not really free.
Well, it's free to them.
Free to them. Yes, I'm saying.
Not free to me. It costs me money, right? Because I have to pay all of those fees, the transport, the production, all those things, right, to get there. In other cases, it's just money, right? Listen, you want to get on our shelves, you have to pay us X number of dollars per SKU per store. Something, right? But when you look at the math, a lot of those slotting fees can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And for small businesses, it's not tenable, right? And the banks weren't banking. Venture capital was not, showing up. It got very hard for a lot of folks, right? And for us, we'd raised some money. We raised money in 21. We did a pretty good job of managing that money. We went to go raise money. We opened up a safe, a $5 million safe, about a year ago, maybe a little, what's the month this is? About close to a year ago. And, things look really good, actually. We raised $1 million pretty quickly.
By the way, listeners, SAFE is a type of investment round where you're bringing in investors. He's not mentioning like SAFE, like a safe deposit box.
No, no, it's a type of convertible note.
Yes,
technically, right? We raised $1 million. We raised it pretty quickly. We got some really good folks in. We learned a lot from our first round, and then nothing. And then we had a ton of tire kickers, but like nothing. And it started getting really tight because we were running out of money pretty rapidly. And we ended up having to furlough first a couple more, and then everybody. We had to stop. We ultimately had to stop production. We pulled out of all of the stores that we were in. We have very good.
Man, you,
man, all right. Like, it was dire. I thought we were going to look. I'm a die in the wool entrepreneur, so I never thought it was over, right? But it looked like it might have been. Like the fat lady looked like she might have been standing at least.
She was warming up,
right?
She was like, bring me my lemon water. Bring me my lemon water.
Right. I don't think we should say
she was
that.
sound checking. Fat lady was sound checking.
We should probably stop saying fat lady. I don't think that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We gotta stop that. The singer was about to come out, right?
Aretha Franklin was warming up her vocals.
Yeah. So yeah, it got really dire, man. It got dire. So we fortunately we have a product that people really like. They love this product and they really respond to it. And it's not just the consumers, it's also the grocery partners. And so we had grocery partners as opposed to like getting us out of their system. They were like, look, can we just put you on a long-term hold until you're ready to come back? And I was like, yes. And that worked. And we had some things in the pipe and we focused on that. Like, what can we do to survive? Right. And this is a message for anybody in the world, any entrepreneur out there, especially in this space. Don't quit. You have to figure out how to adapt. Right. And so we pulled down as small as we could and we tightened our belts. I mean, I went almost a year now without getting paid. Right.
Wow.
And, we just made the sacrifices that were necessary. And Walmart was one of those things that was sort of coming. And we knew it was coming. We just needed to figure out how to get there. And there were a couple of things that we needed to figure out. One of them was, how do we pay for it? Another thing was, how do we produce that level, that scale, right? And it really, for that moment, forced me as a founder and as a CEO and our team to really think about business in a different way, right? We completely reorganized the company. Where there were 30 employees, there are now 3.
Whoa.
Right. I'm one of them. So basically it's me, the COO and the CFO, right? We outsourced everything. We outsourced sales, we outsourced marketing, we outsourced production, which is a huge thing. So we found at the 11th hour, 11:59, we found the co-manufacturer who took our project on and was able to, here's the thing. This is huge because we've been getting warnings. We got warnings about Walmart. We got warnings about everybody. Oh, it's going to be terrible. You're going to find a co-manufacturer and they're going to charge you 3 times what it costs you to make it yourself. Nonsense. We pay less to have them make it than it cost us. And we're able to scale with them. They're incredible. I can't tell you who it is because we're supposed to keep these things as trade secrets, but they are fantastic. Love them. And there's a possible M&A brewing here, right? Walmart, we met our first ship date and we've been shipping with them ever since. Brother, when I tell you, I don't know who's out there telling these lies on Walmart. Walmart is fantastic.
Oh, listen, Walmart has one of the best food businesses on the planet. Okay. And here's what you got to think about with Walmart. Here's what people got to understand. And let's talk about it from an employee perspective.
Yeah.
They're the largest employer on the planet. The only employers that are larger than them are governments. U.S. government's one of them. And then I think it's one of the, is it Saudis? One, I forgot what, it might be Israel. I don't know. One of those others that has, who are probably Israel, because everyone's got to go to the army at some point.
Right.
But Walmart is the largest employer.
Look,
okay. They are massive.
Before we paused, we were in roughly around 400 stores in the states that we were in. Walmart paid us our price. They did not try to do any of that stuff that people talk. Oh, they try to like nickel and dime you and they're going to hurt you. No, this is not true, folks. Stop lying on these folks. I had folks say, well, they're not going to pay you. Walmart said we will pay you in 10 days. And guess what? Walmart paid you 10 days, sir. They paid 10 days. Well, we were in roughly 400 stores before Walmart. So we thought we were going to be in like maybe 5 states and somewhere around 400 or 500 stores. Walmart said, no. We're in 818 stores across 13 states, including Anchorage, Alaska.
for a healthy food, you guys. Okay?
For healthy food, and they care. For they put us in these stores for their customers. They pay us, they support us. The concept that they don't support Black-owned, BIPOC businesses, women of color, nonsense. Misha's is all of those things. So Misha's is Black, Asian, and female. And they have stood up for us in a way that I literally, they don't have to pay me for it. I'll be a poster child for them. I'm very happy to say that Walmart has been a boon to our business. We have a couple of other things going. So August is around the corner. We have an on-shelf date. I think it's August 13th. We're on shelf at Kroger.
No, that's around the corner. I can walk there if I wanted to. So
yeah, you listen. We can announce it now. It won't officially be announced until August when the program is over. But we are now a member, one of the select members of the Whole Foods Leap program.
Okay,
so that's an accelerator where
next largest employer, Amazon. There you go.
Whole Foods identifies brands that they like and appreciate. And it's an accelerator where they move to help you go national within their brand. And then if they really like you, they make an investment in you at the end of the program, which is at the end of August. So, you know, we turned it around and we learned a lot, right? We were cash positive for the first time ever this month. Our first order from Walmart was bigger than any month we'd ever had. Wow. Our first 1 week was bigger than any single month we had ever had. Right. And the lessons learned were inclusive of stop holding on to things that you don't need to hold on to. Stop trying to do everything you don't need to. Find good partners, right? Be as efficient as you can. We'd had this conversation with a couple of folks and they whisper in my ear, they'd say it. What have you ever thought about just focusing on being the brand? And that felt like an insult to me. It's not an insult, y'all. It's not. Be the brand. We're good at it. We're really, really good at it. And find partners and link hands with people who are really good at what our co-manufacturers are really good at producing this product. And it's not their product. They're producing our product. We are there all the time. We stand on top of the process, but they make it for us, right? The sales folks we have, they're expert at their thing. And we don't have to pay their taxes. We don't have to do any of that. We pay a fee. It gets handled and it works. It feels like they're our employees. They are working for us, right? But more important, they're working for us. You understand? Yes. Right? Like in all of the things. And so the lessons that we have and the things that we're shouting now is founders, entrepreneurs, don't die. Don't give up. Number one, I read this somewhere. It might've been on LinkedIn. Somebody posted this and I think I reposted it. The thing that makes the difference between whether somebody wins or loses, it's not heart, it's not smart, it's stay. It's stick-to-itiveness. What is your ability to stay in the fight, right? That Muhammad Ali, rope-a-dope, you're gonna get on the ropes. This is hard. If it wasn't hard, literally everybody would do it. It's hard. And this is one of the harder moments, right? Find the other founders, the other CEOs, and cry to them. Nobody else is going to give a shit, but we care. Listen, you guys get my number. Call me. My number is available. You can get it from Yohance. Call me. Call me if you're a business person and you sincerely have an issue. Please don't just call to call me. But my phone is open. Call me, because what I have found is what I said earlier. Founders have solutions for founders. We got our co-manufacturer. I can't say it. I'm not at liberty to say it because she's still in the middle of some stuff. But one of our biggest competitors gave us the information for our co-man, right? And she didn't have to do it. She did it because she's human and because she's working and moving in the right way. And that's how I think we all need to work. Let us all help solve each other's problems. And we've been talking about what are new ways, new smart ways to finance or to pay for there are tons. There are tons. I'd say one of the things we learned is don't run to venture capital because they're not necessarily your friend. They want to say they are, but they're not your friend. A lot of them, most of them are pirates. Not all of them, but some of them are pirates, right?
I'm gonna go with the majority. I'm just gonna say, I love you guys, the individuals. I know who you are. I love you as individuals, as people. Right. You're a pirate. You are a Jack Sparrow all day long,
man. And what's crazy about it is a lot of them will come into the space and they have no idea what your business is about. They don't know how to help you. They're not bringing help. They're bringing hope for their own pocketbooks, right? For their future.
Yep.
And that's it. And listen, I had one investor who invests. She owns less than 1% of my business. And she said, well, what I don't understand is why you're not national. And this was after less than 12 months of her investment. And I was like, what are you talking about? Man, we just launched. What do you mean? What are you talking about? But this was the same person who told me that the relationship between an investor and a founder was that of a parent and a child. That happened. That happened. And I had to express to her all of the reasons that it was wrong for her to say that. Our complexions weren't the same. Our histories weren't the same. Man, don't ever say that to another person, especially the fact that we're the same age. Like, stop that. Don't do that. And also same person suggested that they could bring in a team. We should step down as the founding team and let her bring her team in, because she wanted somebody who lived and breathed this. She said it out of her mouth. She said, so you'll notice on my LinkedIn, my background says we live and breathe this, because we actually do. Right. Brother, when I tell you that we had an end run, I had one of my co-founders go to the investors, try to get me fired.
Oh, okay. You had a little mutiny.
Oh, brother, did we? They tried to offer me 0.5% of my equity and a check for $25,000.
And this is before Walmart, of course.
Well, yeah, I'm everybody's favorite hero now.
Oh, yeah. You should send them a counter.
I have.
Oh, you did? Okay, good.
Immediately. I said the company is now a company of 3, didn't I?
You did. Oh, yeah, you did send that counter. All right.
I sent the counter. Look, in all seriousness, though, don't give up. The answer is there. You just got to get to it, and it's hard, man. Like it's hard. It's hard, and you're gonna lose sleep. You're gonna lose hair. You're gonna get gray.
I hope not.
Well, you're bragging again. You got, man. I'm gonna go get like a lace front, and then y'all have to talk about. But yeah, man, like truly, it has been an amazing turnaround. I'm proud of myself. I'm going to say that, because that's the other thing I think we have to do. Be willing to pat yourself on the back for your accomplishments. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. But also my team, Jasmine Dickens is our COO, and she is a phenom. She is tireless. She doesn't like it when I say it. She's a small person, so I think that's why. But I always call her the little engine that could, because she knows she can, she knows she can, she knows she can, she can, she can, she can, and she does. And Michael Okada is our CFO. Mike and I go way, way, way back, and we've all bled for this. Like, you don't want to see what my credit score looks like. My credit score is not as good as your son's right now. I'll tell you that.
Hey, man, you've been in the trenches, though. Yeah,
you get it back. Don't worry about those things. Do what you have to do. Fight and win. And the reality is so look, our safe round, we raised money. It was I think we raised $3 million for a $12 million post. That was our initial raise. We were able to raise the safe at a $30 million cap. Right. Okay. So we did a little growth. In a year.
In
a year
this
from
is all pre-Walmart.
Yeah, but a year from now, look, if I'm honest, the value of Misha's went down probably to the ground.
So you're telling me it's too late for me to pick up those shares. Is that what I'm hearing?
So let me tell you something, Yohance. We've been having these conversations. We don't really want. I would like to not take anybody else's money.
Okay, fair enough.
But for you and a select few, you guys are my friends, right? Like, so there's a space. We won't be taking a lot. In the near future, we hope to not have to take much money. That's the other thing. That this is a big lesson. And you talked about this a little earlier. It's the same. It's this exact same concept as credit card debt or debt of any sort. When you're in business and you're operating a business, if you don't have it, don't spend it, right? Because you can grow your business from your revenues, albeit you may have to grow slower.
May have to grow a little bit slower. It's going to take a little bit more time.
Yep. That's okay, because you want to keep your equity. You don't want to, as somebody said this to me the other day, is make sure you don't get out over your skis, right? Like,
yep.
Keep a strong balance. And I just mean, like, stay centered and grow at the pace that you can grow, that's comfortable, because you can. Don't stop growing, right? But grow a little bit at a time. And we think that if we follow this model, we're going to be very strong at the end of the year. We'll be stronger still in 24 months, right? Like, and we'll have retained ownership of the business. So it's a very important thing.
Man, salute, hats off to you.
Thanks,
Roses coming your way. That was an incredible story, and I appreciate you sharing it with all of our listeners and founders out there. This was, he just gave you guys a masterclass. Okay. So this is one of those you're going to have to save, come back, listen to it again, take some notes, and a few things I just want to point out to you that he shared. The biggest one, I put stars by this like 4 times as I was taking notes. Adapt.
Yep.
I've heard it said this way: adapt or die.
Yep.
Okay. So you got to be able to adapt. I also heard in there that going through that adaptation process, you're going to have a little bit of humility.
Yeah.
Okay. That humility is going to be important. Now, when you have some success, celebrate it. Okay. Give yourself that pat on the back.
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
But still
stay humble. But you can still have that little celebration, especially amongst us founders. Reach out, tell us your wins, tell us what's going well, tell us what's working and what's not working, and find good partners. Money Script is very grateful for his partners. You know what? I don't even know how this podcast ends up on YouTube and on wherever it is you're listening to. I don't know, because I have great partners. Yeah. I know how to hit this record button. Yeah. I know how to have a good conversation. Yeah. I don't know the rest. I don't, because I found good partners. So shout out to my partners. I appreciate you. And then finally, the most important one, just stay.
Stay.
Okay. Survive. As long as you can swing those feet out of bed and place them firmly on the ground, keep going.
I want to interject another piece in there, because this was this was one of the most important things that was given to me during this crisis, and it was a crisis. The overarching bit is make sure that you build your network of support, whether that be try to find other founders, because like I said, we understand things that other people are not. Like, we're going to understand your pain, and we're not going to say the stupid things to you that some people who don't understand might say, that will just frustrate you more. So I was on a call with a private equity guy who's a really good friend. He went to college with another really good friend of mine. He's a little older than I am, and he's one of the major attorneys in the country. I think he's like lead for ExxonMobil. Like, he's a beast. He's like the 8,000-pound gorilla. But so he put me in contact with this guy. And I was miserable, bro. I could barely breathe. I thought I was going to have a stroke. Like, my blood pressure was up. Like, it was a problem. And I'm talking to the guy, and he's listening to me, and I'm giving him the pitch, and I'm telling all the stuff that's going on and my hopes and dreams. And he says, yeah, listen, man, you know what? Just don't let it kill you. And I said, yeah, no. I kept talking. He said, no, stop. I don't mean that as a euphemism. I mean, don't let it kill you. Right? Don't let it give you a heart attack. Don't let it give you a stroke. Don't jump off of a bridge. And I mean that, like, don't hurt yourself, because we as founders identify with the thing that we do. Yeah. It is who we are. It's not just our baby, as some people will say. It is us. It is an expression of us. And so if it fails, or if it's failing, or if it's not going well, for us, it's us. We're failing. we're not going well. We're dying. And you lose sight of all the things that are important. Like you lose sight of your 5-year-old daughter. You lose sight of your family, of your friends, of the people who love you and care about you. And you lose sight of the fact that this is an expression of you, but it is not you.
It is not you. Exactly.
And you've been through things before. You've won some things, you've lost some things, and you've survived that, and you will survive this. Do not let it kill you.
And with that, we have wrapped up yet another amazing Money Script podcast. Thank you so much, Aaron, for coming and being a friend of the pod and joining us again. Give this man his roses. Get out to your local Walmart and try some of Misha's wonderful, amazing,
plant-based, dairy-free cheese on the planet. It's not we don't make vegan cheese. We make cheese for everybody. We just make it from plants. We call it plant dairy. We make it for you. So go have it.
Hands down. And for those of you that are into any sort of Mexican dish, yes, you can use his cheese in all of them because we've done it. Okay.
Queso.
All of them. It works. Queso, it works and it tastes amazing. So now that I know that I can go find it in my local Walmart, I'm going to have to take a trip to Walmart today because we've been talking about it. So now I just have the taste for it. So that's happening today.
I'm looking for that fan video of you in your kitchen making any recipe. So
done.
That I can post that.
Done. It's
and
happening.
Frankly, not just you, but your fans. I want to see the Money Script folks making Misha's recipes and sending it in. And I'm generous. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a giveaway. We're talking about doing a giveaway where we're giving away like a cookware set and like maybe $1,000 to the best of these recipes. So
okay, Brooke, did you hear that? Brooke at Meatless Muscle. Did you hear that? So I got it. We've got another friend of the pod. Her company's Meatless Muscle. But she's all about showing her food and how she's able to, and she's been a bodybuilder and won a bunch of shows and all those stuff.
Brooke, we're looking for you.
Okay. Well, we look forward to it. So I'm going to take that assignment. Aaron, I appreciate you. Everyone, we'll see you next week. By the way, I'm back in the studio. I got Aaron today. I've got 2 next Friday, 2 the Friday after that. I'm back. I know y'all have been out. I've been getting a couple of messages. I'm back. I'm back in it. But as Aaron was saying, I couldn't let it kill me. I had to take a little bit of a break. I needed a moment.
Keep doing that, bro. Rest this weekend.
I will. All right, everybody. We will see you next time on the Money Script podcast. Don't forget to tell a friend. Tell a friend.